What about water purification? You got that?
No, I don't.
We got iodine tablets.
But we have a pond out back that's got a filtration system in Bass. So there's that.
Okay, my strong advice is just get a couple water filters in case you have to drink that pond, and then stockpile some top ramen.
Some what?
Some ramen noodles.
Some ramen.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to get ramen noodles. Oh yeah. When the ramen noodles, energy bars, and ammunition.
We're not looking for it to be a bomb bunker. We're just looking to be able to stroll in there every day and do a decent show, my friend. You're the one that's got the conspiracy theory, not me.
I'm not a conspiracy nut at all. I'm just saying if everything fell apart, people would be tuning in to hear you to find out what was going on. And it would be nice if you could keep broadcasting.
Yeah, we'll have the power to a generator, and we have. I mean, God, Brent, we live near the ocean. I mean, we'll
be all set.
Yeah, it's salt water, but you can drink enough salt. You can drink a little bit of salt water.
I don't think you want to drink a lot of salt water. I just want to make sure you're prepared. Because
but Manson, can't you boil the salt water and take the salt out of it?
No, you can't. You have to distill it.
Yeah,
you can boil it, but you have to capture the steam and then reconstitute it as water.
You got the pond water. You could boil that for sure.
You can totally boil the pond water, but you can't. Yeah, salt water will dehydrate you.
So, Manson, the bottom line is we could create a fire, right, if we needed to.
Yeah.
We could create a fire. If you bring all your guns, I bring... Well, if everybody brings their own guns, I doubt that,
That's a fortress right there.
Yeah, it is.
It took the entire SWAT team for Hillsborough County to take us down.
How many guns would you say you have?
Me?
Yeah.
I'd probably say 40.
You literally have 40 guns?
I'd say probably anywhere between 30 and 40. Plus, I have an airplane, too, Brent, so we can always get up in the air if we need to.
Yeah.
Do you have an airplane?
Yeah, we got an airplane, so we can't land at that place, but, we can get out of here quickly.
What kind of airplane?
I got a Cessna 414.
Damn.
So, yeah.
I gotta go into radio. I don't have an airplane.
Yeah, you just got to start hanging out with us.
Yeah, but you're the heir to the Swanson fortune.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've got a lot of helicopters and stuff.
Right, and you got slaves, and you got Bentleys, and you got I don't have that.
100%. I've got
one of your Bentleys costs is what I paid for my used 414. Come on now.
I've got a lot of servants.
Yeah.
But a 414 is a twin engine, right?
Twin engine, 8 passenger. Yeah, 25,000 feet ceiling, 210 to 220 knots.
So it's pressurized?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
And air conditioning, and it's electric air, so you don't need to. You can have the air on at takeoff and things like that, so the air doesn't run off the motor. So
what year is it?
I think it's an 84.
84. Wow, that was like one of the last years they had it.
Yeah,
that's a cool plane.
82 to 84. You know a lot about planes, huh?
Yeah, I love planes, and I fly in them a lot. So I like little planes.
The next time that you're in Florida, let me come pick you up.
What do you fly it?
No, I fly right seat. I got about probably 60 hours on the right seat. I could fly it, but I got a big Tid that my captain Mike Tidwell flies it mostly.
Wow, so you don't overload it or anything?
No, of course you know about that. I got about I think it's 23 or 2,400 usable takeoff with fuel.
Wow. Yeah, be careful. You definitely don't want to do that.
Believe me, I don't ever chance it, my friend. It's usually just 4 of us flying, and I can put 200 gallons in there. So that's 1,200 pounds of fuel. And then I got another 1,000 pounds. Nope. And it's based on your runway too. If you're leaving out of 4,000 feet, well then you gotta have to be light. If you're leaving out of Tampa at 11,000,
exactly.
You got all day in the world. So.
And it depends, but also the temperature makes a difference.
Hot is hard to get up.
Exactly. That's exactly right. You got a real range on that plane too, right?
I got about I think I got about 1,100, about between 900 and 1,100 miles based on winds.
So you could fly it to D.C.
Oh, absolutely.
That's cool. I need one of those.
I've flown it from Tampa to almost Chicago before.
Have you ever had problems in it?
No, not really. I've had to do some rebuild things and things like that, some annuals, but yeah.
Okay, so you never felt like you were gonna go down in it, or anything?
No, come on. You know what? Mishaps in aviation are because it's called mishaps in aviation for the most part happen for overzealous owners that have the I gotta go syndrome.
Yeah, totally.
And it's either they're flying in bad weather or they just shouldn't be going at that time. Your captain has to be strong enough to say, no, we're not going. It's just not conducive to us leaving right now.
I was in a plane with my daughter last summer in Michigan. We chartered flying around, and the pilot's like, I don't think that we should fly to Detroit because there are all these thunderstorms. Do you mind? And I said, what do you mean, do I mind? I don't, I defer to you. You're the captain.
Right.
And the guy's like, well, not everyone's like that. I said, what do you mean? He said he had a guy the month before who wanted to fly somewhere in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Right.
Through thunderstorms, and he pushed the pilot, and the pilot actually did it. And he said the plane was like inverted practically.
That's when you die. That's when you die. It's called gotta go syndrome.
But here's my question, though. First of all, who would push a pilot to do something he didn't want to do?
Some overzealous.
What kind of pilot would accede to that? That's crazy.
Well, most pilots won't. One of the things that my pilots told me is, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're paying my bills. I know the characteristics of this plane. I've taken the courses. I got this many hours. I know what it'll take, and there's just certain conditions I refuse to fly in. So, we're not going.
But some pilots just do it anyway.
Well, because some pilots are pussies. That's why. It's just like being a man. Some guys are pussies. Some guys are not.
JFK Jr., he died because of I gotta go syndrome, and other pilots told him that night, don't fly.
And you know what? Had he been by himself, I wouldn't be as mad. But he had two other passengers with him, and he was first of all, he had a broken leg. Secondly, he had very little time. Thirdly, the plane that he had, Tucker, had probably some of the most extensive radar. that thing was so well equipped. He got vertigo. I promise you that, and he didn't before he realized what he was doing. He couldn't pull it. He couldn't pull it out.
Yeah, I don't even think they even knew they were hitting the ocean, right?
No, had no idea. In fact, let me just tell you one time, we're flying my buddy's 172, his little Cessna 172.
Yeah.
We got up in some clouds, Brent, about 6,000, 7,000 feet up, and he goes, okay, now, you're going to fly. So I'm flying, Brent, and this is when I first started about a year and a half ago, and I'm flying. I think I'm doing good, right? And all of a sudden, Mike grabs the yoke pretty aggressively. He says, okay, I got to take over. I go, what are you talking about? And he goes, and he showed me the instrument, the horizon instrument, and we were about 25 degrees.
Oh.
And he says,
no way.
And he goes, but because we were in the soup, because we were completely in the clouds, Brent, I swear to God, I got a pretty good sense of direction. I thought we're going straight. I'm keeping my airspeed up, but I wasn't looking at my horizon gauge like I should have been. And he let me go, and he let me go, and he let me go. Finally, he took over and said, now look at this gauge. And we were literally going like this. Oh. And once you get to a point on something that that small horsepower, once you get to a point,
you can't pull it out.
Well, altitude's your friend at that point, but most people don't fly that high. But once you get to a certain point, you can't get it out, and that's what happened to JFK, because you get completely. And Brent, I thought for sure we were going straight. Meanwhile, we're in a 20 to 25 degree pitch.
Ooh.
And that's exactly scary.
That's totally frightening.
And
it felt normal?
It felt 100% normal, because you don't have any because all you see you're whited or blacked out, and you don't have any reference point. So your body just gets used to whatever degree you're in, and you think that's the norm. And I never thought that anybody could get vertigo, but your mind will play tricks on you, and that was a prime example. I thought for sure we were going straight. And we were pitching it quite hard.
Man, that's scary.
Man, that's unbelievable, actually.
Next time you're in Florida, man, let me pick you up, man. We'll go flying a little bit.
I would love it. I love flying. I absolutely love flying.
Fly up to the Bubba of the brand new BRN compound. We'll do some bass fishing.
If we could fly and bass fish in the same day.
Oh, of course. Please. My studio's about 15 minutes from the airport.
And do you actually use the plane a lot?
Every weekend. This weekend we'll go to we'll leave Friday, go to New Smyrna, race New Smyrna, leave midnight, fly to Atlanta. It's an hour and 50 to Atlanta. Race Atlanta Saturday, and then fly back from Atlanta to Tampa on Saturday afternoon. We do that almost every weekend, that or North Carolina.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And Mrs. Bubba doesn't have a problem with that?
No, what is she going to say? She doesn't have no say-so about nothing.
No, but she'll get in the aircraft.
If I tell her to, yeah. Get in the airplane.
Good girl. So she just basically does exactly what you want her to do.
Like, for instance, this weekend, if you drive to the Keys, Spice, what is it to drive to the Keys? 7 hours?
Yeah, at least. You hit that traffic, you're screwed.
From Tampa to the Keys, it's 7 to 8 hours, right? Well, she had to go to a wedding this weekend with one of her little girlfriends, and I refused to go, so my pilot took her and a couple of her girlfriends to the Keys, hour and 5 minutes to the Keys. Of course,
That's fantastic.
I think it was an hour and 9 minutes one way and an hour and 10 the other. So, yeah.
That's worth doing. That's why I need a plane.
Yeah, you do.
But you can't fly at a national airport in D.C. You can't fly in a private plane.
Why?
Out here.
Why?
They shut it down after 9/11.
Security reasons, yeah.
Security, unless you're, of course, everyone from the government does. They fly right out of here. From my house in D.C., I'm 12 minutes from the airport. I'm, right next to it.
Yeah, but, like, where would be your closest private airport?
Well, it used to be you could fly at a Signature Flight Support right at National. But again, now only Obama administration people can use it. Now you got to drive out to some other faraway place, down in Virginia, or go to Dulles Airport, which is a total nightmare. But by the way, did you see? And if you're reading our site this morning, you may have that the White House has given Valerie Jarrett and David Axelrod their own Secret Service protection and drivers.
That's insane.
It's so insane.
Ridiculous.
It's totally without precedent, by the way. Political advisors have never gotten Secret Service protection, which basically just means federally paid bodyguards.
Yeah.
With defined pension benefit plans and life insurance, health insurance and the whole thing, all paid for by your tax dollars, just so Valerie Jarrett can sleep in the back of the car on the way to work.
It's
unbelievable.
Who's this Valerie Jarrett bitch?
Who knows? Valerie, she's some friend of Obama's from Chicago.
And she works, her and David Axelrod is the Karl Rove to Obama.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's not even clear what she does at all.